and we'll start working on the content for the site, starting with the About panel. Now the first thing that we'll do is we'll just add a header. I'm going to use the H2, call it About, and then I'm going to add a class to it so that we can easily style it later. And since I'm using a class, you can infer that this is something that I will apply to multiple elements so that all of the titles for our panels are styled the same. Then we're going to add a couple paragraphs of content describing our app. But as often happens, we don't have content readily available because they're still working on it, right? So what do you do to test your app? What I like to do is look up lorem ipsum, okay, and find one of whatever your favorite lorem ipsum generator is. I like this lorem ipsum IO. Okay, and if I scroll down, you can see I can quickly generate a paragraph or 5. In this case, I want 2 paragraphs. Generate. Great, of basically this lorem ipsum placeholder text. Let me copy the first one, and I'll put it in paragraph tag there. And then I'll copy the second one. And place it in the second paragraph. Okay, and I'm just going to leave them long like that. If you want, you could turn on the soft wrap, and it will soft wrap them for you. So let's look at that now. Very good. There's our About page. Content so far. We also want to add a screenshot here. So I'll go back to the documentation here. Skip down to step 2. There's a link to download an image, or if you'd like, you could take a screenshot right now and just use that. Just be sure it's called earthengineviewer.ping. Okay, so I downloaded that. Let me show that in the folder and actually move it into my app. So I'll copy that, go into public, images, and just drop it in here. Okay, great. And it looks like this. Nice screenshot of our viewer with one of the layers showing. Okay, so we just need to add a link. Okay, so we just need to define an image tag here and set the source to our image. I'm using the static function that's provided in the template so that it can find the image when it's being hosted in production. Let's go take a look. Oops, I refreshed the wrong page. Okay, so here's our About page, and we have that. It's very large right now, but we have that screenshot and we have the text. Okay, so now we'll go on to the Resources panel. And for this, we're going to use Bootstrap media objects. But first, let's add a header. But first, we need to add the header, so let's go ahead and add that header in. Paste there. And just adjust it a little bit. Great. And then back in the documentation, we need to download the images that are provided. That will be our little thumbnail images. They're 80 by 80 pixel images. And as we did before, let's locate those in the folder and copy them into the images directory of our app. Okay, so the media objects are fairly simple. You just want to follow the pattern that's available in the Bootstrap documentation. But essentially, you start with a media div. Let me put one of these in here. Okay. All right, so we have this media div. It goes down to here. And then inside of that, we've got media left and media body. Inside of the media left, we have our link, and inside of there is our thumbnail image. Okay. And on the body, we have our media heading, and then just the content, a description of it, which again is lorem ipsum. So we're going to have 3 of these for our illustration. So I'll just copy and paste the rest of those in. Oops. Put that down there. Okay. And let's go look at what that looks like. All right, that's good. Notice our image is overlapping here. The image isn't respecting our container right now, so we'll take care of that with some custom styles later. But this is showing up in the right place, roughly. Okay, so finally, we're going to add the content for our Getting Started panel, which should appear down here. So this is going to go in this Getting Started container. Great. And essentially what we have is a header, we have a short description, press the button, some instructions, and a link that says Launch Viewer. And if we look at that right now, it looks like this. Hard to read because of the image back there. And notice this is just a link, it's not a button. We're going to use some CSS to change that to look like a button.